Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and a question?
Hey, what's going on, Ben? It's JP. These hit pieces drive me crazy to the point where I don't even almost even want to watch MSNBC to watch Chris Matthews do it, let alone watch black people do it as they try to push this South Carolina vote or this minority vote issue that's really just driving me batty. Joyanne Reeves, I mean, Don Lemon, you got Van, you got Donna Brazile and them now trying to play like they're not partisan, like we didn't know 2 weeks ago that y'all were for Hillary. Now all of a sudden y'all just partisan.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is this is why this election is going to be so funny. This is truly the establishment against the new wave. And it's funny that I never thought it would come to this. I always thought the establishment just had it locked. But I am seeing now that they are scared to death. And it was something that Tick said. Tick said that he didn't say that Bobby Kennedy was killed because of his views. But in reality, if you think about it, him and King died the same year. Both of them pushing the same thing, pushing economic populism, saying that we have to do something about the poor, the left out, and the drizzled on, and yet and still both of them end up dead. Now,
Exactly.
I'm not real big on conspiracy theory, but I will say that the last thing that I'll say is, and I don't want to get off journalism, but you can see the same thing happen with what John Lewis did. And I'm gonna get off the phone and I'm gonna let you jump in, and I'll listen to what you got to say on the backside.
Thanks so much for the call, man. Listen, to me, it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy whatsoever. Listen, if there was a reason that you would expect King to have been killed, it would have been racism. That would be the expectation, right? But the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, they were passed in 1964 and 1965, respectively. He was not killed until 1968, if my memory, April 4th, 1968, if my memory serves me correctly. And that was on the heels of him launching the Poor People's Campaign, in which he was offering up a new economic bill of rights in the spirit of Franklin Roosevelt. But thankfully, this time it would have been something that even black people could get access to. So King, as well as Bobby Kennedy, were going for an economic revolution. And that's when they were both killed. People, listen, let me tell you something. I think I've read in history, of maybe one random assassination. Assassinations of presidents and leaders like that are never random. They are never without other powers involved. Dr. King posed an existential threat to the status quo economically and politically. So did Bobby Kennedy. And in 1968, liberalism died. That's what Tick was talking about. It died. Actually, I mean, the nation went in a totally different direction. And finally, you have a resurrection of progressivism, of genuine progressivism, not the Democratic Leadership Council version of progressivism, but actual progressivism. And the establishment is going batshit crazy. And they are attacking Bernie Sanders, and they're attacking his character when there's absolutely nothing in his history. If you're hung up on his NRA vote, fine, you got something. But there's nothing else in Bernie Sanders' history that you can use to impugn his character whatsoever. Yet they try to do it anyway. And they're using people in influential positions in the black community. And the reason I'm harping on the black community so much, because do you realize that this election is this primary is hinging on the black vote? Because without the black vote in South Carolina, Hillary Clinton doesn't stand a chance. You know, without her having a firewall in the South, Hillary Clinton doesn't stand a chance. And so when you see token people, and when I say token here, I'm not talking about his blackness being token. I'm saying his role in the establishment is he's playing this establishment role where he's just serving the powers that be and wrapping it in something that he wants us to think is journalism and publishing it in the Washington Post at this level with that many people he's influencing. They're using people like Jonathan Capehart and Joy Ann Reid, who won't come out and just be honest and say, I like Hillary, I don't like Bernie. So that people can measure their statements in the proper context. Instead, what they want you to believe is, I am an unbiased journalist. I don't support either one of them. I'm just reporting the news. And Bernie Sanders, that's not a picture of Bernie Sanders. Some people fall for it, but then it's just so insulting to me. It's insulting to me. It's insulting to me. I mean, I guess game recognized game. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because otherwise I guess I just get pissed off a little bit more, a little too much for tonight. So anyway, let me just read the chat room. Let's go to the chat room. I'm going to answer some of you guys' questions and then we'll get out of here. Yes, Crit 44. Yes, I forgot that name. What I'm saying now does apply to Charles Blow as well. He wrote a column, unverified random account, Bernie Bros, but silent on Albright and Kissinger. I agree 100%. Charles Blow can be thrown into that batch as well. You know, and it's not, I'm pointing out the black journalist because of the condition of the black community. And because what they are doing is preventing a very necessary conversation that would be beneficial to the black community. So a plague on all their houses, you know, because the games that they're playing for the establishment is preventing us from having these conversations. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the other aspect. And I'm going to take this caller and then we'll call it a night. Here's the other aspect. You have some middle class to upper middle class African-American voters and non-black voters, right, who genuinely don't believe that the income inequality conversation is a necessary one. I'm running into that more and more and more. Right. It's very surprising, but you have a lot of middle class, upper middle class, older people who just don't feel like this conversation that Bernie Sanders is trying to have across the country is necessary. And it dawned on me, you know, if you are a baby boomer retired, you're likely retired with a pension. Do you realize that most of us today will not ever see a pension? You're retired. You went to college. Some of you went to college on the GI Bill. Some of you went to college on not the GI Bill, but you went to college in a time where you could get a job fresh out of college and take care of a family and buy a home and build the wealth that you're enjoying now. Do you understand that that is no longer the case? And so you have these upper middle class African-Americans and non-blacks, Democrats who genuinely don't believe that income inequality and safety nets and investments in human capital are necessary, because they've conveniently forgotten that that's how they establish their wealth. I've had people literally tell me, you know, that the number one issue in the black community is not income inequality. The hell it ain't. How, when 51% of black youth are unemployed, when black wealth, oh my God, barely exists. It's like 13 times less than what the average white family has in wealth. When most African Americans don't have $1,000 in savings, you want to tell me that income inequality is not a pertinent issue for the black community and for every community? That's because you guys have gotten so far away from the time when you were poor, because you grew up in a generation that had the benefit of human investments. We have grown up in a generation that did not invest in humans. We invested in Wall Street. We invested in financial markets. We invested everywhere else except for the people. And now we're living in a time where we could be making 10 times as much as our parents, but can't do half as much as they did. There's a big generational gap in terms of who believes income inequality is a problem. And it just dawned on me today is because the older people really had a chance to grow up in a generation where one job could grow wealth. That does not exist anymore. Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, or question?